So today we're taking a look at the Walthers Amtrak Viewliner I Sleeper car in Phase 6, and this is a decal version, so originally came with a blank nameplate, so I assigned this car 62031, and a big thanks to Walthers for sending me this to review. But anyways, let's get started here in the front. So here's how it looks like on the end. We've got the gangway and the door, and the diaphragm piece can actually move in quite a bit. Then at the top we have this sort of protrusion with rivet detail, which goes along the side. Then we have a pair of marker lights. You can see the body of the car kind of angles outwards at the bottom. Then in front of the door we have the handbrake, which is molded in. Then we have two separately applied grab irons, some warning labels, although they're too small to read, some more grab irons on the sides as well, and some HEP receptacles molded in. Then we have the coupler, which is a WalthersProto made of die-cast metal and situated kind of halfway underneath the gangway. And in the corners we have the stirrup steps, which are pretty thin. Then let's move up to the side. Alright, so on the edge we have this door with a drop down stairs below, which in real life this would pop out at low platforms, and the windows are tinted but you can see through the other side. And if you look closely, there are additional latches on the door, and this is so they seal it completely shut so it doesn't whistle. Then we have some labels, like here it says welcome, pretty crisp lettering, it's wheelchair accessible, and it's a sleeping car. Then we have this board here, which in real life would show the train number and car position, Amtrak travel mark logo, and the car number, which I applied the decal, though it's not perfect. We've also got these two thin red stripes and a blue stripe, and the Amtrak blue is pretty nice, goes throughout the entire car for the Phase 6 livery. Then on the bottom we have the truck, which is pretty well detailed. See, the struts are mounted on the body and the bogie moves separately. There also is this molded in wire that's going along the top. Then we have these three windows, which have details for the emergency exit, which is present on the real cars. Now for the windows inside, it just looks black. It is see-through, but inside there's actually like a wall, so nothing really passes through. Then we have some more detail going along the bottom. And in the middle of the car, this is where it gains a half level, so an extra window up there. This part has kind of like a rivet section around it. Then there's these two vents, which at the bottom there is this big HVAC vent, which is actually pretty interesting. Like, it's real indents, but they apply this black paint to it, so it looks even more 3D. But it's not a real hole, it's just an illusion. Then here we have the Viewliner car number decal on this plate. Then here we have the rest of the windows, all double-decker. They do have interior seating, just see benches on each side. Some details at the bottom, and we have this metal fluting that goes across the car. Has a nice metallic sheen to it. Then we have the other bogie, which is pretty much the same design, and there's a lip that hangs down in the corner with a stirrup step. It actually surprised me that this end has a double door instead of a single door, and it's decorated with these latches and grab irons, which are separately applied. The diaphragm on this side though doesn't move that in deeply compared to the other end. Then here's a look at the other side. It's pretty similar, you can see a bit of that interior. Then down below got a battery box and other details on the bottom that are different. And the rest of the windows are double decker. Alright, so now let's check out the roof. Pretty streamlined, it's just like this long metal bar here in the middle. And corrugation lines going across, but there's this one little detail, it's like a roof vent chimney that sticks out. That's about it. And then for the bottom, it's decently detailed. Here's a look at the coupler mechanism, which is actually like two separate parts. We've got the main coupler swinging on the end, but it also has this hinge in the middle that attaches to this longer shank so it has more range of motion. See the coupler box moving inside. The next up we have the bogie, so how it swivels inside, pretty simple. Then we have this waste tank painted in black, and air tank next to it. It's actually a couple of them. And these little boxes on the side. This one has a little hollow section. Here's a view of the back face. Then we have this HVAC box, very detailed. Probably has the air conditioner, got a black screw. And here's the water tank. There's a panel off to one side. And then here is the other end. I also got it in the new Amtrak Phase 7 livery, which I did have to pay out of my own pocket because these things were out of stock. It's actually a pretty cool livery. In the front we got the red, then the white stripes, dark blue, and then Amtrak blue. Now it's pretty much the same molding, just the paint scheme is different, but there's a little bit more than that. On the Phase 6, the bottom is mostly silver with a little bit black, but on the Phase 7, the trucks and the struts are gray, and there's a yellow dot on the waste tank. and a lot of the bottom is painted gray, so there's like multiple colors going along. And if you look at the end, we have this nice bright red color, and the accessibility logo is pretty huge. And we got the striped Amtrak logo, car number, first class sleeper, and these are factory applied, so they're not decals, so it looks a lot better. Also, it does say Viewliner 1 on the red stripe. Then going across, you can see the bottom, they actually painted the edges silver, so I love the color variation. And here's the nameplate, Iroquois River. Looks really nice, and they have a black backdrop. It looks so much better printed on. Also on the bottom, you can see they painted the vents. And here's the other end, little stripe. Now the ends of the car have pretty much the same design. And here's a look at the other side. Pretty cool looking. But one difference is the Phase 7 has the car number written on the other end, which isn't present on the Phase 6. So the gangway diaphragms can actually touch each other, and it's relatively pretty flush, close together. And here's how it looks like when it turns. So that is kind of the range of motion. Now I did figure out this one only has 2 mirrors, but really should have 4 mirrors, so I contacted Walthers and they sent me a replacement. So these are the 2 mirrors that weren't in the original one. We're going to glue it on with super glue, which there are slots and holes which you'll put it in. Alright, so here it is finally assembled. This is the Grumman LLV, United States Postal Service mail truck, which is quite common in the US. Chances are you've probably seen one. Here's one from my local area I took a picture of the other day, and I installed all the mirrors on the sides, in the front and the back, and the second one just has mirrors on the sides. So let's get started here in the front, where we have the windshield. It does have an interior with a steering wheel, which is notable. It's on the right hand side, and this is so the driver can deliver to mailboxes easier. Then we have details like the truck number, painted on windshield wipers, side view mirrors. There's also some molded in detail on the hood, these rivets and vents. And then in the front we got the headlights, the grille in the middle, and the blinkers. Although I do wish there was more detail in the headlights because they look pretty plain. Yeah, the grille should be shaded in black. That'll look a lot more realistic. Then on the bottom we have the black bumper, it sticks out. Then we have the blind spot mirrors on the side. Got a side blinker and rivets scattered all around. And here's the door that slides out. Then we have these thin red and blue stripes, nicely printed. Then we have the USPS logo, the Sonic Eagle, which is actually a bald eagle. We've got their website, rear blinker, and I guess this is like an air vent. And here's the hatch for the fuel. Now for the wheels, they are made of plastic. And they do rotate, but it's actually pretty stiff. You have to sort of press on it for it to move. So it's not going to move on a smooth surface. It needs traction, so I put on a foam board. You can see it kind of rolls better, but it's still kind of jerky. And on this side, there's actually a tray inside. I guess this is where the mailman puts packages on. Alright, then here's a look at the back where we have the other blind spot mirror. Then in the top corner, we have the truck number, the tail lights and blinker lights, the door with the logo, and some molded in latches at the bottom, which there is a little ledge in the rear bumper. And then here's the other side. It's actually pretty similar, but there is some additional writing here, United States Postal Service. Actually, I was surprised it's not on both sides. Alright, and then here's a look at the bottom. It has some basic detail. So the wheels are pretty smooth. There's no treading in the middle, so it's hard to get traction. But yeah, that's about it. Now they do recommend the Label 107, it's a plastic compatible lubricant, and you would put it where the axles meet the side frame. But let's see if it makes a difference. So eventually the car went through the entire loops. It actually did improve the rollability. Now, it did improve the distance of the other car, but it didn't go as far, so I guess it kind of varies. Now let's take a look at the lighting which this car has pre-installed. Honestly, it's kind of hard to see. Like at first, I couldn't tell if it's on or off. It's much more apparent if I turn off the lights. And here's how the other car looks like. Inside you can see the rooms, they have beds or benches. And for the top you can also see they have sinks. As for the marker lights, they don't light up, so you have to modify it if you want that. But I actually did figure out they have this inner double door inside. Then further down, there's a hallway with some lights spread apart. And here is the other car, it's pretty much the same deal. And on the other end with the double doors, you can actually see some light shining through. And then here's the other side with the hallway, but then these last windows are dark. So for my final thoughts, the Walthers Viewliner I Sleeper car, they are great Amtrak rolling stock models. I've been wanting this for a very long time because before it was really hard to get in Phase 6, which the last time they ran it was back in 2011, which is 14 years ago. It was also cool they had it in the new Phase 7 livery, which I love the color scheme with the red, just pops out. Also with the additional colors in the body, it's more than I expected. These models are well detailed with separately applied grab irons, thin stirrup steps, interior with lighting, underside detail, a shiny metallic finish, and rolls pretty good. Now for the cons, the lighting is kind of weak. At first I couldn't really tell if it's on. Only when I put it in the dark you can tell, but maybe for sleeper cars you don't want really bright lights. But I did see Train Brain 2000 mentioned in his video there's flickering at low speeds, which for me on camera you can see it flicker, but in real life my eyes didn't see this, so I think it's the camera shutter speed. But if you compare the lighting with my Rapido and Bachmann Amtrak cars, they don't flicker that much on camera. And on the bottom the edges are rough where I think they had a sprue. There's also some excess paint pooling, but these issues are pretty minor. Overall I would recommend this car if you're into Amtrak. Definitely needed for trains here on the East Coast, although the Phase 7 one has already been sold out in a lot of places. I got one of the last ones off Train World. Hopefully they'll do another run. Now for the USPS Grumann LLV. I love this little mail truck. It's a very iconic American vehicle, which you can see pretty much everywhere. Even here in New York City we've got it still kicking around. It is reasonably detailed. I like the molding, the separately applied mirrors. Pretty easy to assemble, just be aware that blind spot mirror in the front. It does have a tab in the middle which you're not supposed to cut. I think it could be improved though if the grille was painted black like the real thing, and if the headlights had more detail instead of just a solid yellow. It's a bit too plain. Also the first one didn't have all the parts, but Walthers pulled through. They sent me a replacement pretty fast, and maybe it's a blessing because now I have two of them. But overall a cool background vehicle for your layout. But that's pretty much it. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you do, hit the like button. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. Subscribe if you haven't already, and thanks again to Walthers for sending me this to review. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.